Hi, we're having a look at Loki Battlemats Books of Battlemats, specifically the Wilderness Books of Battlemats, which is our latest Kickstarter for 2021. What the Wilderness Books of Battlemats is, as you can see here, is two hardback books of modular battlemats, and these are fully laminated. They come in this lovely slipcase with hard covers on the books, and as you can see, we've got artwork on the cover, and on the back is an index of all the maps you get in the product, so you can see what's in there. And also we've given an example of how they line up, because I mentioned that these books are modular, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Now this is the wilderness, so we're looking here at outdoor locations obviously, and these are fantasy tabletop role-playing maps for games such as Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. And here we're having a look at our little book, which is an accompanying publication, which is lots of little perilous places which go with the larger maps. We'll come back to that one in a second. So when I talk about modular maps, what you will see here is that you have two books which line up. Now each of those books contains 1 foot by 1 foot square maps, so by lining these four up together, what you can see is a 2 foot by 2 foot playing area with modular entry exit points, so you can line this up in a number of different ways to create larger maps, and also lots of different shapes and sizes. There is a 1-inch grid throughout this book, with 1 inch depicting 5 feet, which is the standard scale for games like Dungeons and Dragons. And as we move through the book, you're going to see lots and lots of different wilderness locations. So here we have a grassy plain, which, while it is plain, this is amazing because it means that you can customize this for lots and lots of different adventures. Using something as simple as a dry white marker, you can draw onto this book and depict exactly what your encounter map is going to look like, so usable lots of different times. These, of course, being laminated maps, are also fully compatible with our add-on scenery. And the maps also like lots of different ways. I mean, we've designed here, as you can see, this is pages 5 and 6 of volumes 1 and 2, and these are designed to work together as one larger map. But as you could see as I was telling the pages, a lot of the different maps also line up together, which gives you really hundreds of different options and how you can create maps and areas. So you can have your adventure coming into this sort of a bushy moorland area. You can have it coming from a canyon, as you can see here, also a plain, a grassy area as we saw before, and also lots of different terrain that we're about to see in the books. And this canyon is great because it really shows off the modularity of these books with those standard entry exit points. And again, you can line these up in lots of different ways. So you could, if you wanted to, have a long thin canyon as opposed to this square map which we're showing you here. And we've tried to include here as many of the common wilderness theme maps that you'll need for fantasy tabletop role-playing games. So here we have a lake, a bridge, and a bend in a river. And again, as you can see just by looking, there's lots of different ways you can line these up to give you lots of different options for encounters, using the larger area for larger based baddies as well. And you have some fun crossing over this river, because I'm sure it wouldn't be without its peril and events. And also that area there you can use as a waterfall. And we've also included here a sort of a moorland, but more with a sort of a spring feel, lots of flowers here, but you can also see lots of rocky crags, lots of breaks and lines of sight. So these could be camping locations, or you could have encounters here, and there's a range here of different areas of different sizes for when you need larger spaces for boss encounters essentially, or if you need lots of smaller areas, that's also available here. And the same with our map here, showing a very, very deep gorge with 2 potential crossing points and a cave entrance up on the top corner there. So you can see this map would also line up with plenty of the other maps in this book, but it works perfectly well as a standalone map. So you see the big drop there, 2 crossing points to really condense the adventure down, and lots of different options. So when you're running a game here, you've got a lot at your fingertips. You don't have to be drawing this map before your game. It's there ready and waiting for you. Here we have a marshland with some dead trees, and as you can see that we've got lots of water areas here, different depths of water, different size of watery areas, and also some other interesting mud features which could really help you to make the encounters on this map really interesting. You can have players stuck in the mud and never quite knowing how deep that water is before they step into it. Of course, we have also coastline maps here, and here we have a combination of beach, cliff, shallow, reef-like water with some crashing waves and deeper water further out. And the map we've paired with this is our watchtower map. So we're envisaging this would sit on a higher area behind the beach. But again, both the beach and the watchtower map will also line up with the moorland maps, the canyon map, and also, of course, the plain grass as well. So lots of different options. And then we've also included some islands here, so you can see lots of different types of terrain there, and also Coral Bay. So should your party be diving for treasure, we've given a more underwater theme map so that that can be used as well. Which brings us into our forest maps, which are an absolute must for tabletop role playing. So much happens in forest, either travelling through it or finding ruins and dungeons in the forest. They're an absolute must. And again, you can see we've got lots and lots of tree trunks, so lots of broken lines of sight. So you can see the forest floor is very gnarly, it's covered in roots, but we've given a larger, more open area again, so there will be some sighting there from above. And all our forest maps, as you're seeing me turn the pages here, do line up together really nicely. We've got a larger tree stump at the top there with a water feature, and we haven't put the treetops on our maps, essentially because this is a dense forest, and if you put all the treetops on, you wouldn't be able to see the forest floor, which is the whole point of having a tactical map. This is a sort of almost a ruined dungeon map here, but again, going back to my point about tactical maps, especially with games like 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, you need to know exactly where lines of sight are and distances, etc., which is why these maps are so handy. With that 1-inch grid, you can really plan out encounters, and the players, when you're running them, will know exactly where their characters are, who can see who, what spell effects are coming into effect, and everything that they need to know during an encounter. And that's why we've designed the trees the way we have, because we just didn't feel that was possible if we just have tree tops, because they take up far too much space and block the view to the floor. Again, you see in this cave map we've included some lovely glowing mushrooms. I wouldn't be eating them if it was me, but obviously entirely up to you. You can see the caves are modular, they line up with each other in lots of different ways to create different cave systems, but again, from a tactical point of view, really you can track quite easily what's going on there. Now this is the wilderness, so of course we're going to have some colder areas, and this is one of our mountain maps, so we've put in lots of craggy rock steps and cliffs here, so this could be either going up or down, but there's a lot of peril opportunities here and a lot of challenging terrain for the party to tackle, so they can either try and climb it directly or try and find a more easy way up by using the old zigzag, as I just showed you there. So lots of different ways they can address that. And again, we have a snowy map here, which it could be a plateau on the top of a mountain, a sheltered area at the bottom, but also with some rocks and bushes there. You're breaking up the line of sight again, giving an opportunity for some surprises to happen. And again, you'll see me just flip the book over here so I can line the coastland up with the top map. We've given a very plain snowy area there, so you can use that to expand on any of the colder areas we've just seen. But the reason the book is that way up is when I turn the page in a second, you will see that we have two open sea pages, which in those sea pages will line up with the icy coastland, but also the more temperate coast that we saw earlier. And of course, going straight from the icy regions, we've gone to the desert, which again is another must-have, because lots happen as you're trekking through a desert. We've given you some dunes here as well. We've left these ones fairly plain, so again that you can customize these for as many different hot encounters as you need to. And we've also put in some sand canyons which are coming up, which combine really nicely with the plain of desert pages, just to allow you to expand out the canyon areas and use these canyons as a way to challenge the party more. So again, you've got larger encounter areas, smaller areas with broken line of sight, which would be more difficult to traverse through. And then here we have a lava map, so this could be the inside of a volcano or a very challenging fiery terrain. And you can see here that there's a bridge over a lava chasm there, lots of very challenging terrain there, everything is uneven underfoot, lots of rocks, lots of changes in height, so lots and lots of different tactical options there for the party. And those are volumes 1 and 2 from the Wilderness Books of Battle Maps, the latest modular set. You can see all the maps are listed on the back of the book, so you can see which map is in which book to find it quickly, and also see how they line up as well. So Those are the wilderness books, but you saw earlier that we have a little book of wilderness as well, and here it is. Now this is designed as a companion book to the larger wilderness set, but it also works absolutely brilliantly as a standalone book. This is 6 inches by 6 inches and will actually fit in your pocket, so it's absolutely brilliant. And these are additional perilous places that you might want to include in your adventures. So here we have a jungle ziggurat, which would be a lovely way to expand our jungle maps in the book. Some plain grass pages, so again you can customize those for any adventure or just an outdoor encounter as well. That happens a lot in our game, so we need a lot of just plain outdoor training which isn't too specific and can be reused many times. Here we have a cave entrance in the book, another cave entrance with a canyon there, so again height changes as well. And as you can see at river, there is a 1-inch grid on all these maps as well, and again they are laminated, so they are wiped clean with any non-permanent marker and completely usable things like static clings which will clip on nicely to the laminate to customize these maps even more. And these maps are standalone, so if you're just having a quick random encounter, then you can simply whip out the little book and you are away if you haven't got many baddies on the page, or you can use these to add perilous areas to your existing battle map books. It doesn't have to be our map books either, they work brilliantly with any sort of map that you are using. If you suddenly need a cave with a flooded area, you can simply open the book and put it down, or if you're diving for a wreck, you can include that as well here. And it's almost like a fog of war. You don't have to put this little book down until the party are very close to it so they can't see what's coming. Here we have a path through the wood, a ruin with a looks like a dungeon entrance to me, and there's lots of different options here as well, and we hope that some of these maps will inspire encounters as well. Now as you will have seen, there's a matching map in the little book for every page spread in the big book, which means that when you have the larger maps out, and here's a very good example of a map that will be used lots, it's a campsite. But you can use this smaller book to expand the maps in the larger books, to link them together, to act as an entrance onto a map or an exit from a map, or simply to add an extra feature to challenge the party that they can't see coming up. And this is one of my favourite ones with the skeleton in the graveyard and a very, very suspicious looking pit there. So lots going on. Your classic oasis to add onto desert maps, and also a interesting looking sandy pyramid, so that might be a dungeon through that hole there, ending with our lava map again. And that's a brilliant little book just for random encounters and expanding out existing larger maps. Works really well with the larger set, and again that is hard covered, so it's really, really nice and robust. So we've been looking at the Wilderness Books of Battle Mats and the Little Book of Battle Mats Wilderness Edition by Loki Battle Mats. Thank you very much for your time.